Okay, welcome to the channel and welcome to this video. Today we're doing a two-part special with my very dear friend Josh Lenox, who is a co-owner of 1980 Studios from behind us. I thank you, Josh, for having me for this video.
My pleasure, man.
And I think this has been a long time coming.
Yep.
I just wanted to take some time to talk a bit first about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been playing guitar for about 34 years and kind of a rock metal guy. Grew up in the 90s, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Rage Against the Machine, all the grunge stuff, you know. Kind of found my way to yacht rock and classic rock eventually, and I listen to pretty much any genre now.
Yeah.
And but guitar-wise, that's always going to be there. My original influences like Zakk Wylde, Dimebag Darrell, Slash, always there in my playing.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I'm actually playing, and the approach to tone and everything has come from using real amps, for example, and whatever the guys I was looking up to were doing back then. That's how I learned to get tone and play and do the thing, Yeah, I've been through phases. I was a Les Paul fanatic for a few years, but I've kind of ended up back on what my first guitar was, which was a Super Strat, basically. So it was an all black Encore. I don't know if you know that brand.
Oh yeah.
Gloss black with like wannabe EMG pickups, that sort of the matte black plastic thing.
Yeah.
But without the logo, obviously there weren't EMGs. And it was a HSS. And yeah, weirdly enough, that's kind of what a lot of my guitars look like now, just, or very similar,
They're just much
Strats
nicer versions
Super
of
Strats.
Much nicer versions of those.
Yeah,
guitars.
much nicer.
So I think the Strat is very much a huge part of who you are right now.
Yeah.
Because you play in a band called Ocean Boulevard.
Correct.
Could you tell us a bit more about Ocean Boulevard?
That is, as the name would suggest, an Eric Clapton tribute band. And yeah, I probably should have mentioned that despite all my other influences growing up, Clapton's always been there. My mum and dad were big Clapton fans, and I used to listen to was it Timepieces, or there were two CDs actually. We had Timepieces and The Cream of Eric Clapton.
Right.
I think they were both like best ofs, compilations.
Yeah.
But this was like 30 years ago. So, and then From the Cradle came out, and that opened the door to blues for me, like in a big way. And that album still, for me, kind of defines blues, even if that sounds sacrilegious, because it's 90s covers of proper blues.
There's no shame in that.
But to me, that's what I just think is such a fantastic sounding album, and the renditions are really worthwhile. They're not just covers. Like Eric Clapton made those songs his own. And I think that by way of that album, that's how he became a bigger influence on me than if he just stuck to his whatever he was doing before,
Yeah.
I don't know when this happened in my life, but I'm obsessed with the 80s. That's partly where the Super Strat thing comes from, and like listening to Whitesnake and Def Leppard, and I think probably by my early 20s I was like really into that kind of thing, and then just the more 80s the more better. I listen to synthwave. I love 80s movies. I love the fashion, and the 80s era of Clapton, which led into the 24 Nights live album, which is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that defines Clapton for me. That Journeyman, 24 Nights, From the Cradle, that is just like, that's kind of where Ocean Boulevard focuses its inspiration, if you like. That's what we're trying to pay tribute to specifically.
Awesome. But let's talk a bit about how my journey of refretting ties in with your journey with Strats. Because I would have shared in prior videos that you are actually my number one refretting customer. You were not just the first person whom I did a refret for, but you have effectively done 10 refrets with me right now as of this stage. So we will take this opportunity to get into all of those little details, not least with the very first guitar that I refretted with George. So let's get into it. All right, so let's talk a bit about this guitar. How do you come to acquire it and your journey with it so far?
Yeah, so I got this in 2018, I believe, late 2018, and I think this was my first ever reverb.com purchase.
Wow.
But I think I might have seen a YouTube video about it before, because the guy or the company that was selling it, they do these like kind of nice YouTube videos where they'll kind of gush about how awesome the guitar is and talk about every little detail. And whether it was via the listing on Reverb or on YouTube, I saw that and I was just like, yeah, this is a cool guitar. as soon as I felt that neck, you know, that kind of, it's not, I wouldn't say raw, it's just like dead smooth, no lacquer, just kind of like an oily smooth wood finish. And I've always liked that, you know, I used to scrape the finish off my guitar necks in the 90s anyway. So, you know, they kind of come, they come out of the box feeling like how I think a guitar should feel, you know, with like rolled fretboard edges and jumbo frets, and they're just super playable. So I saw this and I thought, well, that's a bit of a kind of semi-vintage future classic type thing. It was like kind of affordable, and I thought, let's get it. And I was, you know, I didn't have a lot of guitars back then, I don't think. I had maybe the other Charvel, which we'll see later, and one of the Strats that you have now, Scar.
That's right, yeah.
I think they were like my only two guitars when I bought this. So I was like, yeah, I could do with another, you know. So I bought it, and then I kind of didn't like it for a while, I'm not going to lie. I struggled with it. You know, I did all kinds of things to it. I had another luthier friend of mine help me wire different pickups and fret dress it and set it up, and I was just like, it wouldn't stay in tune. I changed the bridge. There was just a lot of kind of gremlins and things that were putting me off this guitar, and I almost gave up. And then I thought, I will take a punt on a stainless steel refret, because you'd already done one for yourself. And at that point I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This feels great and it sounds great. I've had refrets done before, but I'd never gone stainless steel. And when you told me you were going to start doing stainless steel refrets, I was like, luthiers say that, you know, you'll get through tools so quickly and it's expensive and it's arduous, and you were like, okay, we'll see. So once I'd seen that and, like, you know, proof of concept, I was like, damn, yeah, okay, let's try that on this. And this is now, I could safely say this is one of my favorite guitars.
Right, wow.
And it's become almost like a safety blanket. Like, you know, I'll play other guitars for a while and sort of neglect this for a few weeks, and then I pick this up again and I'm like, like, yeah, this is what I want every guitar to feel like and sound like. It's just, it's
such a nice memory to bring up again, working on this guitar. There was a few things that stood out to me. Number one was that it was the first guitar that I refretted and which someone paid for the job, but it was also a compound radius. So that in itself was also a neat little challenge, but I think I like to think that it stood the test of time.
Well, you nailed it, dude. Yeah.
Cheers.
You nailed it.
Sweet. Let's move on to the next guitar.
Okie dokie.
So let's talk about this next guitar, which has a very, very interesting backstory of its own.
Well, this came to me by way of our mutual friend Kelly Olofsson, who's Canadian but lived in Singapore for 25 years or more.
That's right. I speak quite a lot about Kelly in one of my prior videos, where I took over his Les Paul Gold Top.
Yep.
And then I did refret for that. But anyway, same person, different guitar.
Yeah, so I'd been kind of umming and ahhing about, I had this kind of FOMO about vintage guitars. I was like, I need a vintage guitar. It's time. You know? I'm in my 40s, I deserve it. God damn it. I'm going to get a vintage guitar. But, you know, they're horrifically expensive and I'm not that rich. So Kelly had told me about this 71 Strat. I was told at the time it was a 71 and that his cousin owned back in Canada. So he had spent all of its life up until then in Canada, which is why, you know, none of this hardware has been replaced and it's just gleaming. There is just, it looks brand new.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, a lot older than me. But this, I mean, thankfully it's held its
Yeah,
It's held its.
It's still looking great. After all
it's
these
still
years.
shiny. You know, it's still great. But yeah, so anyway, so I kind of spoke to his cousin through him, and we negotiated a price. Got it for a really good price, actually. Yeah, got it shipped over here. And then the first thing I noticed was that the frets were almost non-existent. And I was like, well, I could just have this as an investment, but no, I want to play it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the kind of guy that wants just like loads of stuff for the sake of having it. You know, I actually kind of gives me anxiety if I've got stuff that I'm not using. It's got to go. You know, so like I go through amps and guitars if they're not being used. So I thought, no, get refret definitely, because I'd already been sold on the first one.
Yeah.
I knew how much it could transform a guitar, and yeah, sure enough, this is another one that I just can't stop playing.
I want to talk a bit about how we dated the guitar.
Yeah.
Because it was sold to you as a 71 Strat.
Yeah.
But we later found out that it wasn't.
So I think Kelly said he helped his cousin buy it, or helped him choose it, back in '78. So it's been with Terry for all that time, and they bought it as a 71. I'm not really sure how that came to be, because the first thing I did when I got it was Google the serial number, reverse look up the Fender, and it's a 1969 serial number. So I was like, could that be right? You know, could they have like just put a 1969 neck plate on a 71 guitar? Would they have done that? So you came over, that day. We opened it all up. We looked at everything, and there was a stamp on the neck that was consistent. It's not the date, but it's a format using green ink that it does line up with 6970.
That's right.
We checked the pickups, we checked the pot codes.
That's right.
Everything really was kind of pointing more to 69 than 71.
That's correct.
So, it could have not hit the shops until 71. It could have only sold for the first time in 71, but I'm pretty convinced it's 69. So I'm calling it a 69.
Yeah. Perfect number.
69, dude.
69. And it's worth saying that, when I did the refret for this guitar, and of course, I think this was prior to me refretting Kelly Olauson's 68 SG.
Right.
I remember actually there wasn't a lot of divots in the fingerboard compared to a lot of older guitars.
Yeah.
There were some marks, but it wasn't as much as say Kelly's guitar, because I think his was played a lot more. But that's it. There's still lots of lovely play wear around here for some reason. It feels like the guy who played it was like a rhythm guitar player. So he ended up just strumming very close to the end of the neck.
Oh yeah.
And that's why you can see a lot of fingerboard wear just over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so when I refretted the guitar and I did a sort of a fingerboard level, I wanted to maintain this. I wanted to make sure that I didn't just erase all of those, erase all of that history of that guitar.
Yeah.
So I think that's something which I feel, I was able to retain, at least for the most part, in this instrument. You can still see some fingerboard wear here and there.
Yeah.
But by and large, I was able to retain most of it, thankfully. But such a cool guitar. And tell me a bit more about, how does it fit in your collection these days?
I've used it on sessions. It's quite a unique sounding Strat because it's kind of like warm and big sounding. It's good for rhythm actually. It's good for just kind of strumming chords because it doesn't have that it's not as fast, if you know what I mean by fast. It's kind of got a bit of sag to it.
Okay.
So you can kind of dig in. It likes distortion. It's just a big, warm sounding Strat, and it's really a joy to play. I've had it just sitting at home for the last few months, and I always have a guitar at home, like all my couch guitar.
Yeah.
Because I have a very tolerant wife. I can just, always watching TV, I can just sit there noodling and just, she doesn't care.
I couldn't get away with that.
I know. I'm amazed that I can. Sometimes I'm annoying myself. I'm like, I really need to shut up now. She never says a word. So I've always got one, most of my guitars live here at the studio, but I've always got one at home that I just like to just sit on the sofa and bond with. And I've been doing that with this for a good few weeks now. And yeah, this is kind of a rotation, Okay. After this, it'll be another one. But I've used this a fair bit. I'd like to use it more. But it's just contextual, it depends on what, do I need to, I probably wouldn't use it in Ocean Boulevard because it's not correct.
It's not correct.
It doesn't have a maple fretboard and it's got a big headstock, so it's just not, it's got to look the part, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But otherwise, I would love to.
I think the last thing I want to talk about for this guitar is the fact that I wanted to go back to what you said earlier about it being a vintage instrument, but also that you wanted to play it. I think a lot of people who might be watching this, especially those who own vintage guitars, might be able to identify with that, which is, you want to play it, but you don't want to devalue it, and there's always going to be that debate and a push and pull, that tension in that debate. And do you feel like you have regretted that decision or not?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, if I hadn't refretted it, I wouldn't have played it.
Right.
And that would be more regrettable.
Right.
And I don't think, refretting a guitar doesn't devalue it. It's like changing the brakes on a car, Oh, are they the original brakes? No, of course not. It's been driven, they wore out, you have to replace them. So I mean, ask any vintage player like Joe Bonamassa, he won't think twice about refretting a 50s guitar or 60s guitar. It's not a big deal. If you want to play it, do it.
Nice.
But that's all I've done. I left it otherwise original. So the pickups have 60 cycle hum. They don't hum cancel in positions 2 and 4. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not going to use it.
You also want to experience the guitar as it was designed, as it was intended, right?
Yeah, as much as possible. Yeah. And a lot of people have negative things to say about the CBS era of Strats, but I guess it was a bit hit and miss, and this one was a hit.
There we go.
You can't really fault it. Rock solid.
Lovely.
Not too heavy, not too light. Plays great, sounds good. What else do you want? Boom.
Okay, let's bring out the next guitar. This one now actually is my guitar, but it was George's when he first had it. That's
Yeah. So,
how did Ska come to you in the first place?
I was very lucky to just inherit this guitar. I was given it. Yeah, I kind of feel guilty just saying that, but this was when I moved to Singapore. I had one guitar, really. That was the black Charvel that we'll come to later. I had my old 7-string Flying V as well, but that's more of just like that's in the archive.
That was
my forever and ever guitar.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is a very, very specialized guitar.
Yeah, and it's ridiculously heavy. So I probably won't ever play that again, but I can't get rid of it because it was custom made for me. No one knows what it is. Even if someone did buy it off me, they wouldn't pay what I think it's worth. So.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so I only really had, the only guitar I had with me that I was playing was the Charvel SoCal, and then I'd wanted a Strat. I'd had Strats before, of course, but I didn't have one at the time. And my father-in-law just showed up to the coffee shop one day with a gig bag, put it down and said, "Check this out." I opened it up and I was like, "Oh, damn." My first thought was like, Is it a real 60s?
I remember 60s? You texted me. You were like, "Oh my god, is this a real 60s Strat?"
I was so excited.
I don't know about that.
Well, the V on the serial number is a bit of a giveaway, so that just means vintage reissue. So
that's right.
Yeah, but for a free guitar, God, can't complain.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Your refret on this was the third refret it had since I owned it.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I first got it, it had the standard kind of like skinny frets, and it had been played as well. They were worn down. And again, I wanted to play the thing. I loved it otherwise. It sounds great. It's a nice weight. It's relatively light, actually.
Yep.
I stripped the finish off the back of the neck because I don't like lacquer. So it plays really well. But I went and got it refretted, jumbo nickel, and then I had someone else do like some fret work on it because I think because of the vintage radius, it was choking a bit up here.
Yeah.
So I had quite a heavy fret dress done, and by the time that was all done, I was like, there's hardly any fret left. And it was like a 70s fretless wonder, Gibson. And I was like, now I can't play it anymore. There's too much friction. So I got that guy to refret it again. And I think I chose, for some stupid reason, I went for a smaller gauge because I thought maybe I should try and make it a bit, more
vintage correct.
60s correct. And so I went for like narrow tool I think narrow tool.
Right, yeah.
And didn't like them. Didn't play it for ages. I thought, what have I done? Then I had you stainless steel jumbo, the George Lenox treatment, and then I loved it again.
Yeah, there we go.
And I was playing it a lot.
And there's no shame because guitars come and go in our collection.
Yeah.
But what made you decide to release this back into the wild?
At the time, I probably had like 5 or maybe even 6 Strats.
Right.
And this was kind of getting nudged down the pecking order.
Sure.
Because I was doing parts casters, like parts builds, and really going for what I wanted.
Yeah.
Trying to replicate custom shop Strats that I'd seen. I was just going through phases and just chasing things, and ended up with a big pile of Strats, and this just kind of, I don't know, I felt like it had served its purpose, and it was my only Strat for a while, and then it was like one of 5 or 6.
in all fairness, it probably, what's the best way to describe it? Like had sexier siblings.
And it also had market value, and I didn't have cash, so
Right.
But I'm not gonna lie, I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah, well, you know where I stay, George.
Yeah.
No, but
Still in the family.
Yes, exactly. So keeping in the family is one thing, but I think more importantly, why I said yes to George was because this guitar is actually from my birth year. So this is a 1987 AVRI. I say it's AVRI. It's actually an American Vintage 62 reissue. This was before the AVRI series even launched. So it was like part of that.
This is from the first round of those vintage reissues.
That's right.
So when was it Dan Smith came along and saved Fender in '82 or whatever, and they just kind of like tried to turn things around because they'd been getting a bit lost. He said you need to reissue 2 of the classic Strats from back in the day. Let's do a 62 and a 57.
That's right.
And you had the 57.
I had the 57, and then that's a whole different story because that guitar is long gone, but that's okay. But more importantly was you talked about the two variations, 57, 62. Ironically, the only difference was that one had a maple neck, one was a rosewood fingerboard. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
And the 57 didn't have the V profile, did it?
No, the same neck profile.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same neck profile.
And the same pickups.
Yeah, it was the 57/62 pickup set.
That's right, yeah, which you can still buy. So it was just this had this is the original guard, isn't it? Yeah. The 3-ply.
Yeah, I think I'm colorblind, but is this a parchment or is it like a...
This would have been white.
Right.
This would have been like pristine white.
Sure.
And that's the color it is naturally Singapore to.
What Singapore has done to our guitars, basically. Yeah.
Because, you know, this is way older.
Oh yeah.
And that's the original guide.
Oh my, you can really tell the difference. Yeah. Nice.
So that discoloration doesn't happen everywhere in the world.
There we go.
It's the humidity.
It's the humidity kills us all. But this guitar still survives, still kicking.
Yeah.
It's in my possession now, and I bring it out and I play it every once in a while. And you know, whenever I want to remind myself what a real Strat sounds like, I pull this guitar out basically.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It is kind of a benchmark Strat.
It is.
In a way.
Oh yeah. I've actually, after I took it over, and what happened was that I bring it out to show to some of my prospective customers. Some of them were like, are you selling this guitar? I went, nope, this is my guitar now.
Yeah, it's got a thing. It's got some genuine mojo.
Yeah.
That's why I call it Scar, because it is kind of beaten up. It's very buckle rashed at the back, and it's got some dings. But it's like, it's aged better than most like poly finished guitars I've seen.
Yeah.
Because you know how like, you know, a poly finished guitar will just stay pristine for years until you drop it, and then there's a huge chunk missing. They don't just wear off nicely. Whereas this has got some, you know, quite nice. I don't know if you can see this, but
yeah, we'll use some B-roll to capture some of that.
Just some,
I'm curious as to whether this is actually a poly or nitro finish.
It's got me wondering if maybe it is nitro, because in places it does look fairly thin.
Yeah, who knows? The history buffs will let us know whether it's a poly or nitro finish. Yeah. Okay, but now from a black Strat, we'll move on to a Olympic white Strat.
Yep.
I think. So now we're with the second guitar that Josh has since handed over back to me. I say hand over, well, it's now in my possession. But George, tell us a bit more about this guitar. How did you come to acquire it? And of course, why did you eventually let it go?
Yeah, so this was another reverb purchase, and this came about because of Ocean Boulevard. So the first iteration of Ocean Boulevard was actually our band Embers.
That's right.
And it was actually our bass player John's idea. Randomly, and I don't know what made him think of it, but it was like, he said we should do an Eric Clapton tribute night, you know, here at the studio, and just because we were thinking of like events we wanted to curate for this place, and he kind of, I think he had the idea to kind of like try and replicate the 24 nights thing, but obviously on a much smaller scale. So our band, which was kind of a mixture of covers and originals, morphed into this Eric Clapton tribute band for one night only. And me being me, you know, I'm like details obsessed. I don't do anything by halves. If I'm going to do a tribute to Eric Clapton, I need a Clapton Strat.
There we go.
So I went and found this on Reverb, and this meant a lot to me at the time, because this is the version of the Clapton Strat that he was playing on From the Cradle.
Right.
And if you go on YouTube and look up From the Cradle rehearsals or Blues Tour rehearsals, you'll see this hour-long televised Eric Clapton rehearsal.
Right.
Where he's playing this, among other things. He's got like a really cool old 335 and a couple of Birdlands, and obviously the acoustics as well. But I saw that on TV when I was 13 or 14.
Wow. And
I videotaped it, and I used to like, I was on my knees in front of the TV with some other shit Strat copy I had back then, just watching it over and over again. Yeah. And funnily enough, now it's on YouTube. I'm still doing that. You ask my wife. Like,
crashed over the laptop.
Yeah. What? Especially when I'm kind of, you know, getting ready for an Ocean Boulevard gig and trying to get inspired and like looking for nuances and more things I can learn. I've watched that rehearsal so many times, and it's just seeing him with this. I was just like, oh, that is so cool. So yeah, found this on Reverb, bought it. Didn't like it very much again. tiny frets. Yeah. I was like, right, Eric,
do your thing.
I need your help.
Yeah, I did my thing.
So obviously, again, with the stainless steel jumbo frets, made all the difference night and day. You know, it was so much easier to play after that. But then, after the first few Ocean Boulevard gigs were out of the way, and then it kind of like went in hiatus for a year or more, year and a half, and I focused on my focus shifted to my original band, and I was doing something completely different. And I just thought, like I said earlier, if I'm not using something, I move it on.
That's right. Yeah.
So I didn't have the foresight to realise that Ocean Boulevard would be resurrected and get busy again. But never mind. A Strat's a Strat. I didn't really particularly like the neck profile in this, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
And I didn't really get on that well with the electronics.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to a Strat sounding like a Strat. And when I first got this and plugged it in, I thought, ooh, like even with the boost off, it sounds like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
It's got a very kind of hefty.
It's immediate.
Yeah.
It's immediate and it's very hi-fi sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is because I don't think that's necessarily because of the pickups. I think it's because the boost circuit is never truly off. So you can roll it all the way down, but it's engaged and it's doing something. It's like a really powerful buffer. So yeah, I think I'm happier just on a Strat that I've kind of customized in my own way. And
sure.
So we'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when George said, you know what, I'm selling this Strat. And I said, okay, we'll work out a deal, and we eventually found a way to figure something out. But more importantly was, ironically, all the things that he just mentioned that did not appeal to him, the neck profile and the electronics, those were things that appealed to me specifically because I did not have anything in my collection that had those characteristics, right? Yes, I have my own parts built guitars. You know, I've Warmoth guitars, you know, which have that boat neck profile, which I'm very partial towards. But I like this because it was like a slimmer version. It felt like a race car.
Yeah,
like a really souped up, you know. I mean, it's from the 80s. No, hang on, this is a
98.
98. There we go.
Yeah, 98. Yeah,
it's a 98. Yeah, 98 guitar, but it was also of that era, just after Fender did that Jeff Beck signature Strat, which was also from that Strat Plus model, effectively. So I was also very intrigued and very curious about the lace sensor golds. When I finally, got a hold of this guitar, I was like, yeah, you know what? This is its own thing, its own animal, and it's something that I will pull out for sessions and to use, at jams, just because it's something completely unexpected.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I don't ever think of it as a Clapton signature guitar. I think of it as, this is a really cool guitar that has a very unique sound and a very unique playing feel as well.
Yeah. It does the Clapton thing really well, I have to say. When you roll in that boost and go for the solo, it does the thing.
Yeah.
And actually, that is quite hard to replicate with pedals. I have tried. No matter how you try and shape that boost, and it just doesn't quite do what this does. I don't know what it is, because it gets really dark. It's really powerful, but as the more you roll it up, it gets really dark, which is why I think that we've got the TBX tone.
That's right. Yeah, to brighten it up,
compensate. Yeah. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but it does that thing really well, and it is a bit of a race car. So. Yeah.
From this guitar, let's move on to this guitar over here, which is actually your first guitar in Singapore. Is that correct? Or was it?
It's the one I moved out here with.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was the last guitar I bought in the UK.
And this guitar, it's been a while since I've had this guitar. Let's talk a bit about some of the mods, because we've had a lot of back and forth with this guitar.
Yeah.
And I think on top of the refret, I actually built a whole different nut for George over here, but we'll let George talk about it in his own words.
Yeah, I'm going to seem quite neurotic by the end of this video.
No.
So
no, you're not neurotic, George. You're nerdy.
I'm a guitarist.
Yeah.
We're all like this.
Yes, we are.
So okay.
Don't lie to yourself.
This is a 2011 Japan-made Charvel SoCal, and I've done a lot to it. So when I first got it, it had the original pick guard, which would just be like matte black.
That's right. Yeah, single ply.
Single ply. Yeah, and that was what they had at the time. This is an aftermarket pick guard. They actually make one like this now. If you look on the website, it will be Mexican made.
Yep.
So it's the Pro Mod series.
Sure.
But you can get a black SoCal with this guard. So I did that.
Okay.
And then like a week later, I go on Charvel's website and there it is. And I was like,
Charvel, if you're listening, I believe I have a friend here who would like to endorse your products.
Yeah.
So hit us up.
I would love a signature model or two. For sure.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I bought this in early 2017. Found it on the Facebook Marketplace locally, and I couldn't believe it. Like I'd never played a Charvel before. I played Fender guitars before. I played maybe even some Jacksons, but this was just like, oh my god, the neck was just like the smoothest, most comfortable neck profile I've ever laid my hands on. I kept the original frets on it for years.
Yeah, you did.
Before finally thinking it might be worth getting the stainless on this.
What situation do you find yourself in where you go, yep, that's the guitar?
This is my Gibson. This is my, because I'm like, sometimes you need a 2 humbucker guitar.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone off Gibsons, to be honest. Like, and this guitar does an incredible impression of a 335.
No way.
I actually recorded a sample of me playing it once. I was playing a...
Yeah.
Don't know if you can hear that. That's Black Cow by Steely Dan.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was just jamming a bit of that song. I recorded it on my phone, sent it to you. I said, guess which guitar this is. And I had a 335 at the time.
And I thought it was
that. And I was like, good. It's this.
You fooled me, guys.
Yeah.
You fooled me.
So this is my 335 and my Les Paul. So if I need that, this is the guy.
Nice.
Because I don't actually have a lot of 2 humbucker guitars, I don't think. This might be the only one now. In a kind of practical session musician sense, if I needed a Gibson, I'd just play this. But I'm a huge EVH fan. One of the mods I did was I eventually got Seymour Duncan 78s. Wow. And like, that's the sound.
Yeah.
I think I've since replaced, this is still the custom 78 in the neck, but that is a JB now.
Oh,
because I needed from my other band, which is quite heavy, I needed a bit more firepower.
Right.
And that kind of like mid push.
Yeah.
Because the EVH pickups or the 78s don't really have that. They're kind of more of a classic Alnico 2, like really nice sounding humbucker, quite well rounded, but they just don't have that, that puff in the mid range.
Okay.
That the JB has.
I didn't realize that you shifted it to a JB.
Depending on what I want to use this for, I might put the custom 78 back in. Because I was using this with There Be Wolves for a while, so I just needed it to rock a bit harder.
There we go. Okay.
I think that's it for mods. Apart from, we talked about the nuts. So obviously, it has a Floyd Rose. So I would have had the locking Floyd Rose nut. I think it was mainly out of just frustration of not, like, I wanted to use this kind of guitar for Wolves.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to drop tune
on
the fly.
Okay.
I didn't want to have 2 guitars just for the sake of drop D and standard. I tried various ways of installing the D-tuner, the EVH D-tuner. I didn't get on with that.
Oh, right.
And what I didn't realise about that is that only works if you set the trem for dive only.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's kind of pointless. On this and another Charvel parts build that I have looked kind of similar. I just thought I don't want a locking nut anymore. I just want to commit to this not being a fully locking. Thing is, like, you know, if a guitar's well set up and you're not doing like crazy dime bag dive bombs and squeals and stuff, you could still use this and it will be fine.
That was the first time I've ever kind of done such a custom build of nut, because I've made bone nuts before. I've made resculpted nuts from other materials, but this was the first time I had to basically cover the entire shelf of where the locking nut would have lived. For the other guitar that we were going to talk about later, probably. What happened was that George asked me to build a nut, and I said, okay, let's build it off a typical bone nut. I had to put together 2 pieces of bone to make it the entire size. But for this one, I was like, hang on, your guitar's black and all the hardware is black. Yeah. So I found this basically what is can only be described as a cow horn material. So it's like a horn material that is darker color. So it's still a horn organic material, still quite tough, but it holds its shape really well, and now you can see that it matches the rest of the instrument. So from far, cool. You wouldn't realize that it's not a locking tuner. It just it is what it is. Nice.
So that's that.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back.
Cool.
So there we have it, the first 5 guitars that I've refretted for George. Once again, I would like to thank George as well as Jonathan and Geraldine of 1980 Studios for allowing me to record in their wonderful main room space. If you like this sort of nerdy content, do consider liking this video as well as subscribing to the channel so that when the next video shows up, you get a notification as well. Do stick around for the next video, which will land in the next week or 2. Unfortunately, my schedule has been rather busy recently, so I am going to space out the videos as I go along. But rest assured, this kind of awesome guitar content will continue to be what I specialize in, at least for this YouTube channel, as well as some forthcoming work, as you might see over my shoulder. So to that end, do consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the bell icon, all that good stuff. Okay, stay savvy, and I'll see you in the next video.